change. It sure is something, yeah, it's something. But don't it make you wanna turn the night up, get you high up, tip a cup till it's upside down. Don't you wanna let go? Let the smoke.
I'm very excited to talk to you about big things happening. We'll get to that. But your new single, can I just say, oh my goodness gracious, this is a whole new, at least for me, I don't know, it's a whole new Petric. Oh my gosh. So let's dive into this.
All right.
Let's dive into this new single. Let's just get right into it because it's already out and it's already available, of course, on, the digital platforms and whatnot. And when I knew it was coming, I was like, okay, I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't and I think that that's actually a good thing. When you don't know what to expect, that's kind of a sign of, a band or an artist that's always evolving, always changing, and always pushing themselves to, what's next for us. Right. And that describes you perfectly, especially getting to this song. So you've had Flirtin', which was a beautiful song. I loved that song. Such a nice song. That's how I would describe it.
Yeah.
Then you've got this one where it's like, it feels like Petric is planning or getting ready for like this big stadium performance. That's how big it is. So let's talk about it. Tell me about Night Up.
Well, I want to say this right off the hop. Something you said, I think we can both, Tom and I think the whole band can relate to. You said you didn't really know what to expect. And when you hear it, it's something else. And to be honest, I feel like the entire step of recording this song and creating everything that goes with it, we felt the exact same way. We did dive into a completely different direction. It was something that we jumped in with 2 feet. We talked about it. It wasn't something that just happened by fluke. Tom, Jordan, and myself, we sat down and said, let's try something. Let's push ourselves. And I think at every point in time, we all had a little bit of reservation, but as a team, we pulled each other when someone had doubts. The other two and the other band members kind of said, no, we got this. And then at times when that one member that had doubts, he was the one that saying, no, we got this. Let's keep going. So it was a real team effort. We recorded this entire track during one of the harshest lockdowns we were experiencing. I don't even remember when, because the pandemic's kind of a big blur now. It just all seems like one big 2-year chaos.
Hangover.
Yeah. But you know what? We really thought there was another side of us to show. We thought this song was going to give us an opportunity to showcase that, and we're really happy with how it turned out.
So with that said, then, and that's really good to hear that it was on purpose, because even if it wasn't, I mean, that's a happy accident. But the fact that it was on purpose goes to what I was saying about Petric as a band. You're constantly, it feels like you're constantly always trying to evolve. And I guess I don't want to say keeping up with the times, but keeping up with yourself as you grow and as you change as people, right? Like, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like you always, working on new music, you always want to try be different and evolve, like you said. And I really, like Jason said, we really talked a lot when we were doing this song, a lot of like back and forth and trying to push the boundaries of what we've done in the past going forward. And I think we did a pretty good job on this one. I think, again, like you said, trying to evolve and trying to go forward. Yeah, I think we hit all we did it. Yeah.
Well, and so with that said, because both of you touched on it now, and so what I want to know then is when you mentioned that you sat down and you talked about it as a group, what kind of direction you wanted to go with this particular single, what was part of that conversation specifically? So here's Jason, here's Jordan, here's Tom. What were you talking about is what I want to know. What were you pulling from? Were you pulling from different influences or different tastes of music?
All of it. But for us, one thing that I think we always hold each other accountable to it. And this is where, again, I think it's sometimes we might, I don't want to say we butt heads, but we, we make sure that we're holding each other accountable. And we make sure the song's strong. We make sure we love it. We make sure we feel it. We can play it. We can do something with it. Recording's not cheap. And, we're not the Beatles or the Rolling Stones. We got to be accountable for the money we spend, and we got to make sure we're passionate about it.
Yeah.
So if we're passionate about a song, then we start talking about the ideas that can go into it. And if we're still passionate about it and everyone's on board, then you know what? I think at that point we can justify going forward with it. But for for this track, it was one of those things where we said, I think there's a rock and roll element to it. There's different sounds we can explore. Are we brave enough to do it? Do we think it still represents us as a band? And I think there's a lot of rock and roll to us. I'm a huge Nickelback fan. A lot of people have always asked that. And I always, Tom's chuckling here because I always refer to that. But it's one of my biggest influences, and as a band I think we go up on stage and we crank up our guitars and we go for it. So we wanted to take that element into recording songs. What's really cool about music now is singles. People record singles. So you like something, great, maybe you can elaborate on it. If you don't, then maybe you don't do it again. But you don't have to commit an album, which I think which allows us to be braver, which allows us to try these things. And not to say anything directly about anyone's specific music, but there's a lot of songs out there that they're almost all the same. It's the same drum groove, same chord progression. You're singing about a girl in jeans and a guy with a beer, and a lot of it can be very, very much the same. And while that stuff, people love it, and we love it, we really do always want to try and do something a little different. And this song allowed us to do that. So.
Well, when you say the word passion, first and foremost, Jason, I think even in this conversation, you can feel it as you're describing the process. I can certainly feel it just reaching through. So I can only imagine what it's like sitting there. One and two of your brothers. So I can imagine there's always going to be a little friction, and friction is good. I always say friction is good because sometimes the most beautiful things come from it. But I'll leave that for you to kind of correct me on or agree. I don't know. But with what Jason said, Tom, he mentioned Nickelback and the influences, and that's really what I want to go back to, because for you, Tom, what piece of you did you bring to the table with this song? Because again, I'll talk about what grabbed me about this song in a moment, but I want to know from you, Tom. Yeah, what was your element?
Well, okay, before we get into that, what I was talking about before is when Jason brought up Nickelback. I think one of the things that we were butting heads about is how Nickelback do we want this song to sound?
No, we were not going that route. He's just bugging me.
I know. But no,
I get that.
One of the things for me that I remember recording this song, it was one of the hardest things for me about the song was trying to find a good sound to sing. And Jason said we were in a massive lockdown when this song happened. And, trying to find a good room in my little house to sing the song, and was pretty difficult. And, I got, the more I hear this song and I listen to the song, and a lot of people, they tell me, man, you sound like Chris Daughtry in this song. Your voice sounds like, and I think Jason even said that one time. There's one part at the very end where he thinks I have a lot of Daughtry in me, and I love Chris Daughtry in the band. And I think again, we're trying something different with this song a little bit. We wanted to explore this side of it, and for me, I think we did it, like I said before, and just the singing aspect, and trying to get the sound, sounding perfect and all that was a very key thing for me. So
listening to this song, guys, I gotta say, and I'm trying to put the words together so that I don't want to come across as offensive, because I don't mean it offensively, but the difference between this song and everything else that you've put out is that this it didn't sound like Petric. And what I mean by that, again, I'm trying to phrase it in a way so that you know what I mean. It sounded like this was an entirely new, incredible band, and it sounded like there was more than like 3 of you. It sounded like this was a band that's been around for 40 years, and like I said, you're gearing up for like a big, huge stadium tour, because I immediately felt like I was in front of a huge stage ready to just give her. And I don't think I've ever felt like that before from one of your songs. And I mean that in the sense where everything else, I love spinning your music on our station. For sure I do, because it comes in and it just, it's familiar. You recognize your voices. And it just, even like you said, Jason, to your point, what you talk about, Flirtin' was such a great song because it reminded me of Bonnie Raitt's Something to Talk About, because it just had that, you captured that flirty essence and what you were talking about so beautifully. And it was a nice song. This one is like, grab the bull by the horns, we're ready to go. And that's what it feels like. So, and so it just, again, when I say it doesn't sound like Petric, what I mean by that is that it sounds like, again, you guys are on another rocket ship evolution of who you are.
I appreciate you saying that, because, I think at times as a band, when you've been doing it as long as we have, and we haven't been doing it forever, it's not decades, but you know what, we put a lot of effort in.
Yeah.
We've been around the block a few times. You need something refreshing to kind of keep you motivated, keep you excited. And it gets tough. I mean, it's a tough business to be in. We all know that it's no different in radio. It's just as cutthroat in the radio game as it is in the music business game. Like you need to find new things that keep you inspired, and that's what we tried to do with this song. And I'll be honest, I was talking about kind of pulling the band around and everyone kind of picking each other up when there's a little bit of doubts. I had doubts about this song only a few months ago. And I don't know what my reasoning was, because I'm very excited about it now. And we just got to perform it live for the first time in Kenora. And it sounded awesome. It felt so great to play. But, in this business, it's full of doubts that you need to find ways to stay inspired and stay excited. And I think that's just what we tried to do with this song. And I think it's doing it for us now.
Do you want to add anything to that, Tom?
I think he nailed it. I mean, yeah, I was in the same boat. I mean, like you said, I think everyone has doubts. And I think when we first started talking about this song, I had major doubts. I don't think this is us. Again, you can even ask Jason. I think I was very against doing this song. And just, I think it was too far this way a little bit. I like what we're doing. No pun intended, but let's play it safe and not, we got a good thing. Why change it? And I'm more like that all the time with everything. But like again, there's
quite
a lot
annoying.
of doubts. What? It's quite annoying.
Quite annoying.
Oh my gosh. Dinners with you guys must be just amazing. Someone's calling you again, Tom.
No, there you go.
What's fascinating listening to both of you talk about, you keep using the word doubts. And what I'm hearing isn't so much doubts. I mean, I'm glad you say it again. I don't ever want to come across like I'm, when I hear something that but when you said play it safe, that's almost where a lot of artists and a lot of bands, they become stagnant because they play it safe. And again, something was needed, I think, at this point in your career, to propel you forward. And this is that song. And the word that you're using, doubts, I understand what you're saying. And for me, the word is more uncomfortable. And when you hear those sayings where they say, you know, do what makes you uncomfortable 100%, because that's what's new. That means you're changing and you got to get used to it. And you're like, oh, you know, to go from, you can't just go from when you're 12 years old to 40 and just jump, you know, it takes a lot of, you know, learning and growing and arguments and good conversations and to become who you are from when you were 12, right? So this is the same, I think, with you guys. And when you say doubt, it sounds like more you were hella uncomfortable with how different it sounded, but it's exactly where you are in this point in time.
Yeah.
And you got to get used to it, you know? Very cool. So with that and big things like this song catapulting you, what exciting news? And I know something exciting's going on. Tell me what's happening.
Well, we're announcing a fall tour, which is super exciting for us. We get to play some cities and some rooms that we've talked about for. I mean, we've talked about it for 3-4 years now, and we had plans to do this prior to the pandemic with the release of our last album. We all know what happened there. So we're announcing the Turn the Night Up tour. We're going on the road. We're going to hit a bunch of spots in Manitoba. We're taking Jerry Soretta and Jason Kirkness out with us.
Wow.
We might even have more artists on this bill. We've talked to a few people about the Winnipeg date, and we're really excited. So November 12th, we'll be at the Park Theater, and it's going to be an awesome Saturday night, and we hope everyone can share it with us, because it's been a tough couple years for live music. We obviously have had the opportunity to perform a bit, but this is something we are really excited about, and we can't wait to share a bunch of new music.
Wow, that's incredible. And what a lineup. That's going to be a party for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of Jerry Soretta and of course Jason Kirkness with their, that Turn the Night Up is an excellent name.
Oh yeah.
You guys are going to have a hard time turning it down after with that.
We might actually have to try turn it down a little bit if I know those guys the way I think I know them. But
Never.
You know what's really cool about this run of dates for me is when I first started playing music, close to about a decade now, I really dove into this industry with 2 feet and I never looked back. Jason Kirkness was the first artist to really give me a chance to play in a band and be part of a team. You know, I was recording a lot of my own music while I was playing music in his band. Shortly after that, I kind of went over to Jerry's camp and started playing guitar for his band. And it really got me geared up and ready to do what we're now doing here in Petric. So it's really cool to, you know, kind of say, hey guys, we're going to go out and do it again. And it's been a long time, but let's go do it. So I'm looking forward to it. Some of the rooms are beautiful. We're going to be out in Portage la Prairie playing at the William Gillespie Center. We're going out to Dauphin, Manitoba, Neepawa, and we're going to play in Verdun and Brandon as well. And it's going to be a great couple weeks that we get to play music with some of our dearest friends and guys we really look up to with music.
I have to say, I've become a whole new level of a fan of yours with the last 2 releases. Flirtin' was in a different way. I was like, this is very clever and this is really well done. But this one, I'm a whole different fan of yours. So, but I do want to say, I do have a personal question, I guess. Jason, I feel like you're the business.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Really? What gives that off? You don't think it's me? No.
You know, when you ask Tom, hey, what'd you do for this record? And he's saying, all I did was sing. but to give credit, I'll give full credit here. I told Tom as soon as the vocals were done on Night Up, I said, Tom, that's the best you ever did it. What'd you do different? He's like, you weren't there. So, whatever. And I said, cool. Until you fuck it up, you can keep doing it without us.
Oh my God, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Gonna make you wanna turn the night up. Gonna make you wanna turn the night